Hi, welcome to the Scrollworthy Heat Wave Special. It's summertime and things just keep getting hotter. That's right, meteorologists have determined at least 5 Webtoon men are responsible for the current heat waves. We're here to give the full report, as well as some tips on how to keep these men from melting us. Our first heat wave is a double whammy coming from opposite directions. The combination of heatwave Unholy and heatwave Dohwa have left the masses panting. Unholy is the best friend of Sue's ex Minu, making him off limits, which is how all this heat began. To get back at her ex who cheated on her with her sister Raim, Sue proposes she and Unholy publicly flirt to make both traitors jealous. Soon after, Dohwa arrives on the scene as the heartthrob slacker who is actually very caring and hardworking. The warmth of his eyes and smile shouldn't be enough to set our hearts ablaze, but public reports confirm they most definitely do. Dohwa was initially Raim's good friend, but he develops a tight friendship with Sue after realizing she's super cool, funny, and chill. Many were groaning from the heat when he jumped to Sue's defense after Raim tried to trash her behind her back. So what happens when two of the strongest heat waves are rivals? Everything gets exponentially hotter. When these boys compete for Sue's attention, you can feel temperatures flaring as tensions rise. Readers are advised to seek shelter in the patches of shade they're throwing at each other, but be careful not to get caught in between their death glare, unless you want to feel both their piercing gazes burn a hole through you. And while this heatwave has impacted many, the main character Sue has been hit particularly hard. As you can see from this map, the day Sue discovered Minu cheating, temperatures were quite low as she felt cold and alone. But Unholy stayed by her side and we observed a wave of warmth pass over the area. When she and Dohwa got locked in a classroom and spent all night opening up to each other, her entire body temperature reverberated with toasty warmth. From there on, there have been countless interactions between the three of them, causing heat spikes as all the blood rushes to the face region. Considering neither man plans to back down, meteorologists predict a future map may look something like this. But the most perplexing element of this heat wave is that both these men are hot and cool. Unholy's icy blue eyes and distant nature radiates a certain intoxicating chill, and Dohwa's casual and effortless attitude has us shivering. Due to the drastic shifts in temperature from hot to cool, our immune systems are completely compromised, and currently half of the population is crying, screaming, and throwing up. Heading over now to Midnight Poppyland, the second heatwave on our radar is Heatwave Tora. Though many considered it a scientific impossibility, over the course of the series, Tora went from hot to hotter. For reference, this is how Heatwave Tora started, and this is how it's going. He's the mysterious, tall, dark, handsome right-hand man of the Mafia, and we have Heatwave specialist Dr. Weber on the line right now to give insight as to why this heatwave is so potent. Dr. Weber, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So, a collision of specific elements generated Heatwave Tora. My team actually predicted he would be a significant heatwave from the first moment he appeared. He was lounging on a couch in a dimly lit room, gazing at his phone with those molten golden eyes. His shirt was unbuttoned, slightly revealing large tattoos on sculpted pecs and abs, and he smoothly gathered his hair into a top knot as he sauntered out the door to take care of business. He is moody, he's jaded, he's a bad boy, and nothing scorches the earth like a bad boy. But a heatwave does not become this blistering on sculpted abs alone. You have to have the right personality and compelling character development. Tora is tough but tender, he's unshakably confident and highly skilled at his job. We feel very fortunate to witness many moments throughout the series of his indomitable strength. Additionally, throughout the series, we see moments of vulnerability, which is also just so attractive on a guarded, muscular man. Whew, I am getting hot just talking about this heatwave now. So with all these factors at play, we as readers are evaporating. We're melting. We're getting scorched. Tora's just really giving it to us from all directions.
Thank you so much for your input, Dr. Weber. One reader said she started noticing the heat around episode 6 when Tora showed up in a tuxedo and humbled an arrogant rat. Another believed the heat became unbearable at episode 35 during the rooftop scene. And many cited episode 75 felt like being locked in a sauna for 24 hours. Too much exposure to Tora is likely to cause fainting or deep daydreaming. To prevent injury, Midnight Poppyland is best read from the couch or bed and should be safely binged at 3 a.m. once night temperatures have dropped. Fire marshals are advised to remain vigilant as this man is smokin', but the author has assured us that even if things do catch fire, it will be a slow burn. The third heatwave seemed to have originated from Kim Dokja from Omniscient Reader. Readers first began observing rising temperatures when Dokja took control of a chaotic situation and saved numerous civilians audience with ingenious thinking. For those unfamiliar with the story, Omniscient reader follows average corporate John Kim Dokja as he finishes the final chapter of his favorite webcomic on his commute home. A supernatural event declares the end of the world, and Dokja is shocked to see events unfolding exactly as they did in his webcomic. He uses his knowledge to survive and protect his fellow companions while stylishly evading the wrath of competing survivors and arrogant deities. The heat began building since episode 5 and has persisted for about 150 episodes now with no end in sight. As you can see from our graph, temperatures notably spiked around episode 40 when Dokja acquired a slim-fitting bulletproof vest and gloves. Conditions have slightly worsened with the introduction of character Yoo Chun-chok, who many hoped would be a tall glass of water, but turns out was just a bag of flaming hot Cheetos himself. Fans of Omniscient Reader are advised to ship Dokja and Chung-hyuk with caution, as too much shipping may leave them unquenchably thirsty and manic. Our fourth heatwave was precipitated by Sung-hyun Kang, a beloved movie star from the series' daytime star. His devotion to the main lead Yura Hwang instantly catapulted this heatwave into astonishingly high temperatures, rivaling that of 1,000 burning suns. Talented actress Yura Hwang has been struggling in the industry for many years, and movie star Sung-hyun was the first in the upper echelon of entertainment to notice and value her. To capture her heart, Sung-hyun doubled down on his charm, humor, and thoughtful gestures, completely unaware of the drastic impacts that chivalry would have on the fandom. He's completely sincere and selfless, and his initiative to take action makes him even more radiant, so viewers should equip themselves with sunglasses. Also, this series does not shy away at all from turning up the heat. Some episodes are so steamy we had to issue a humidity warning as well. If we review the forecast of heatwave Sung-hyun through the lens of Yura Hwang, you'll notice a week before she and Sung-hyun met, Yura was suffering from near daily rainy days and a lack of vitamin D. But the clouds cleared up when they shot a romantic scene on the beach together. Then a heat advisory was issued when Sung-hyun magically showed up in a cafe to confess his feelings. The world felt the sizzle on episode 29 when she spent the first night at his place, and notably the thermometer broke on episode 55 for the first time, but not the last. The way he can make a girl feel so special, one might believe they're the only one who could possibly be feeling the heat this intensely. But in reality, you are not special, so you can join the thousands of fans who also wish Sung-hyun would make them breakfast in bed. We all know we shouldn't stare at the sun, but when it comes to Sung-hyun Kang, it's impossible to look away. So now we want to wrap up this segment with some tips on how to enjoy the heat safely and responsibly. First, we have exposure therapy. It may sound counterintuitive, but scientists have determined that the best way to build tolerance toward the hot men of Webtoon is to expose yourself to as many hot men as possible. Our second tip is to crawl into a refrigerator. When you're reading series full of hot men simultaneously and it's too expensive to ship yourself to Antarctica, this is a quick and easy way to prevent overheating. Our third tip is to just give in. Studies show that those who feel emotions, particularly hopeless romantics, are most affected by these kinds of heat waves. We advise that demographic to just give in, as there is no use fighting it. And lastly, we want to clear up a common misconception. Some have recommended thinking about baseball when one is feeling particularly stirred by the heat, but sports can actually exacerbate symptoms of frustration and desire, as many of these fictional characters play sports and have immensely athletic bodies. Here is a list of sports you might want to avoid thinking about. And that's our time, folks. Let us know who your first Webtoon heatwave was and how many layers of clothing you sweat through. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.